Hi, this is Apostle Laura Lee, and I have been intending to do a series on quote-unquote Manly P. Hall for quite some time. That is Manly P. Hall there on the right, and that is Madame Blavatsky. People always get so on me because I don't pronounce things the same way. Well, just consider it the accent. This is how I pronounce the names. So Madame Blavatsky there on the left. And I just want to point some things out to you and bring some things out. Now, Madame Blavatsky there is an occult writer, and she lived from 1831 to 1891. She was a Russian occultist, spirit medium, and author who co-founded the Theosophical Society in 1875. She gained an international following as a leading theoretician of theosophy, the esoteric religion that the society promoted. She's very, very famous, and I can do more on that. And then who you have there on the right, and I won't go into who he's with, we'll just keep it to him, keep it simple. Manly P. Hall, he was born in 1901. Okay, so Helen Blavatsky died in 1891. She lived to be 60 years old, if this information is correct. And then 10 years after she was dead, Manly Palmer Hall, Manly P. Hall, was born, and he lived until 1990. He is best known for his 1928 work, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. He's a big occult writer and speaker from that era. And then Helena Petrovna is her Blavatsky. Petrovna. So she shares a middle name that starts with P. And, you know, her first name is Helena. And then Manly P. Hall, his last name is Hall, obviously. I'm looking at these two, and they basically have a lot in common in their careers. Now, Helena Blavatsky, she did come to America. She relocated to the United States in 1873. So she lived her last 18 years in the United States, relocated. So I don't know if she moved back to Russia or whatever. I'd have to really get into it. And so this isn't going to be some detailed thing. You'd have to do real significant research on your own. But I'm saying she came to America, this says, relocated to America in 1873. And she was in 1849, when she was 18, she did world travels, and it's reputed that she came to America in that time when she was young. Are you seeing the resemblance between these two? There is a great, great resemblance between these two, and they basically have the same historical activity and significance. That they wrote books on the occult and traveled and spoke about the occult. And given the fact that Blavatsky was in America when she was young and lived in America in her older years, she relocated. How old would she have been? Let's take a quick look. 1873 well, she wasn't that old. I mean, she was 42. So she was here when she was young. She was here when she was, you know, early 40s. And then she lived to be 60 years old. Well, you know, they have secret bloodlines in the Illuminati. They have secret bloodlines where you don't really know who's related to whom. But if you want to look at those eyes, they're very similar. If you want to look at the mouth, very similar. I'm not going to say that Manly P. Hall appears to be a clone. Not as far as I can tell. I don't think that that's the case. Now, when people age, you know, their noses look different. Things look different about them. There's great similarity where I do think it's possible that unbeknownst to us, Manly Hall could actually, and this is speculation, I don't have anything here that's going to be investigative work for you where I'm going to bring out a fact that you have not seen or known. This is speculative, okay? It's speculative. So I don't have to prove it. It's a speculation. You don't prove a speculation because you're not claiming to have ironclad proof and evidence of something. It's speculation. So for anybody who's going to protest, you don't have a protestation. Okay? I'm speculating. It looks that way to me. It looks that way to me because I see very strong physical similarities in the eyes. You know, the eye shape, the mouth is very similar, a lot in common. The nose, I don't know, because if you want to look at the nose between the two, you don't know if it's attributed by age on Helena Blavatsky there, because your nose will change when you get old, and you do see, I see a difference between the noses. You know, maybe you can look it up. Maybe you can explain it. I can't. It just, the noses don't look the same. So not fully the same. Just the way they're flared, it's just not exactly the same shape there. But a lot of similarity where I do believe that it's very possible they would be related, because not only do I see real similarities in their appearance of their face, but I also notice they did the same thing. It ran in the family, perhaps. They say that Manly P. Hall came out of nowhere, but did he really? Did he really come out of nowhere? I don't think so. Now, I mean, I don't know if they can do, you know, any cloning, or if they could at that time, where you might have a slight variation where it wasn't an exact duplicate, where they spliced in genes, I mean, and created an offspring, which it would be the same as a biological grandchild or something. I just think it's really in the realm of possible that Manly P. Hall could actually be the grandchild of Madame Blavatsky, however you pronounce that. Now, I want to bring up to you, do you find it interesting that his first name is called Manly? Manly? Manly. What does that remind us of on my channel? That reminds me of how they do the satanic transgendering and then create a gender type reversal name, Manly. So wouldn't it make sense that Manly P. Hall would be a generational Satanist who was transgendered, born female, showed to us as a male? Because I'm going to go over quite a bit of Manly P. Hall. We'll look at some more pictures here quick. Okay, that is a younger picture of this Helena Blavatsky, who also has a middle initial P, HP Blavatsky. I think they look very much alike. It's also very telling that Manly P. Hall wrote about, did a speech on, has an audio book on the works of Blavatsky, Blavatsky wrote The Secret Doctrine. You see the similarities? And then Manly P. Hall wrote The Secret Teachings of All Ages. And he spoke on Blavatsky, however that's pronounced, and the book The Secret Doctrine by Blavatsky. And he says, this is a quote by Manly P. Hall, and in a work called Landmarks of Esoteric Literature on H.P. Blavatsky and the Secret Doctrine. The original work of H.P. Blavatsky stands more or less unique, even within the field of related literature, and as a result of the years which have passed since 1888, so he's got 888 in there, when the volumes were first published, we are aware that her own peculiar and particular insight still makes these works unique, remarkable, and valuable. So quite the glowing review. Madame Blavatsky was the first to admit that the book she wrote would prove highly controversial. She frankly acknowledged that the type of proof which the scientific world requires simply was not available. Also, that there was little to be gained by attempting to imply an authority. That it was wiser that the book should be accepted as the work of an individual. That they represented a very careful study of a vast area of ancient tradition, which is the same work that he did in The Secret Teaching of All Ages. So continuing, this is what he says. The landmarks not available to the average student, those that are acceptable, difficult to find, that the only possible way that the material could be verified would be for another person to go through this exact same procedure the way she went through. Needless to say, no such person has arisen since her time. Therefore, from the scientific standpoint, the secret doctrine still remains an enigma. Well, he rose by the exact same means. He did the same thing. It was reputed that he came out of nowhere. And I can read you a little bit about Manly P. Hall from Wikipedia. And I've done a little bit more research, but I don't know that I could pull out a really good quote for you. He had a 70-year career. He gave thousands of lectures, including 2 at Carnegie Hall. He published over 150 volumes. In 1934, he founded the Philosophical Research Society in Los Angeles. What did Helena Blavatsky form? The Theosophical Society. What did Manly P. Hall form? The Philosophical Research Society. So he did that in 1934 when he was 33 years old. So he's got a lot of lectures and books that are available online, and he is assuredly very much revered by the occult, the Illuminati, and what are the odds? His first publications consisted of 2 small pamphlets, The Breastplate of the High Priest, 1920, so he was 19 years old, and Wands and Serpents. Between 1921 and 1923, he wrote 3 books, The Initiates of the Flame, 1922, The Ways of the Lonely Ones, 1922, The Lost Keys of Freemasonry, 1923. And The Secret Teaching of All Ages was published in 1928. So he was 27 years old. So what I'm saying to you are the odds that this person just came out of nowhere as an independent individual who just had the same exact leanings, repertoire, footprints, path as Madame Blavatsky, who did tour America in a world tour, when she was very young, reportedly started when she was about 18 or so, and then she moved to America when she was 42. What are the odds that she had secret family in America and that Manly P. Hall is a descendant? There's a remarkable similarity in the eyes at the very least. Now the looks they get on their face, you can say it's by this religious demon, this, spirit of the occult, but those are also generational spirits. So the fact that they get a lot of the same looks on their faces, maybe others in the occult do as well, but I'm just saying it's remarkable. The not only same shared looks, which could be related to generational curses, generational demons, but the footprint is so much the same. The footprint of Manly P. Hall is carrying out the legacy of Helena Blavatsky. So what are the odds? It could just be, it's just a great coincidence that they look alike and they're so similar, and he started so young. But I think it's more likely, the way that we see the hidden hand behind the curtain, that people are raised for certain things. And with Helena Blavatsky having already accomplished these things, done these things, the occult would have raised someone in her line, in her family line, to come out to do the job that Manly P. Hall did. It just makes a lot of sense to me. Now, there's a lot that I want to go over with Manly P. Hall. We just are pointing out generational Satanism. He did teach about the Baphomet. He did teach about transgendering, which we can get into as I do a series on this. And we see that his name is Manly. And we see somewhat of an oval face shape there, which is the basis because the jaw can be produced by male hormones. We see some basis of, just the MO. The MO of generational Satanism and transgendering, and he did teach about that. And so I'm going to present this, and Lord willing, as I have opportunity, I'm going to do more parts of this. Again, this is speculation on my part. It would take some things that are hidden to be revealed to have more evidence of the potentiality of a real relationship here. But I could do more history of him. I can cover this from a lot of angles and see what more I bring out in this series. I will bring out to you quickly that Manly P. Hall, it's stated that he never knew his father. And that, so he's got a background and just different background things where he wasn't raised in a typical manner. I thought it was unusual. When I did deeper research, I found some facts that I thought were unusual and could go along with a secret line. But that's typical. That's very, very typical in the Illuminati, that they hide the bloodlines. So I hope you enjoyed this tape, and we're going to be going over it. He also has ties to Hollywood. I want to get into that, Lord willing, that I have time. Just some things that I hope you find interesting. And it is the Baphomet, Satanic, Illuminati, New World Order, Transgender Agenda.